Manuel Neuer is a different breed of goalkeeper. And while his unique and aggressive playing style could be interpreted as dangerous or risky, it has led him to big things on football's greatest stage. While he didn't invent the role of sweeper keeper, Neuer certainly took it to a new level. Lightning quick for such an imposing physical figure, almost daring opposition strikers to take him on as he takes risks to launch attack from defense, the German international has made goalkeeping fashionable. And in 2014, he made it the key to Germany's World Cup success. For 20 years, Neuer was entrenched at his home club Schalke, where he started at age 5. He debuted in the Bundesliga in 2000.
Seconds later, it's just been pure chaos. Cabo Verde nearly pulled off the miracle of the century again. But we're down to the final match of the night right now, Colombia and Ghana. I'm expecting a low-scoring match. Let's see what Tom Vecchio is pulling the trigger on here. Tom, what did you bet on in this game tonight?
Yeah, let's start off with 8.5 corners over that, minus 120. Throughout the group stage, Colombia, they piled up 5, 5, and 4 corners. They allowed 9 of their own, or 9 corners. Ghana only had 6 corners, so really not expecting too much. They did allow 14 through the first 3 games of group play, or the only 3 games of group play, I should say. So if Colombia can get me 5, I think Ghana can get 2, maybe 3, and I think I'll be live to win that, which I certainly like. Daniel Munoz for 1+ shot on target. That's at plus 160. He had 2 goals through group stage, 3 total shots, 2 on target. He's a defender, but I like what they do, Colombia overall as a team, and I'm rolling that right into Colombia for 16+ shots. Not shots on target, shots at minus 120. They had 24, 20, and 15 shots in 3 games of group play. Ghana allowed 8, 19, and 11. Yes, Gabe, I'm with you. This is not going to be a high-scoring game, but Colombia love to shoot, and they love to shoot from far out. So any chance is a good chance. Get those shots, and let's get to 16.
I agree with your take there, Tom, and you're right. Listen, Ghana are a very, very stingy team, right? They're cagey. Yes. They're hard to score on. They play low-scoring games. It is what it is. They've got guys that play in big-time leagues. They're a real team, but they are extremely offensively challenged. And as Tom stated, Colombia launch. Like, they shoot. Mm-hmm. Like, they all they do is just fire. They'll fire from distance. They're looking to bang in a rebound. And, listen, this is a stout Colombian team. Should be, as we stated, Tom, who knows what's going to happen. But with that being stated, I'm trying to nail these final scores. We've hit a few of them. You don't have to be right all the time. We hit one at plus 700 the other night. But I'd like to get on track and hit another one. But I pulled the trigger, guys, with Colombia to win 1-0, plus 500. So, and you can still get in on it. No one scored yet, etc. So, Colombia to win 1-0 is plus 500. Under 2.5 goals, minus 124. It could be chippy, but these refs really don't want to call anything for the most part. So, We'll pull the trigger. We're getting under 2.5 cards at plus 100. Both teams to score, no, minus 163. It actually went up a little bit before kickoff, but Tom, every time we say, oh no, we don't think, how it's going to be 1-1. It was 1-1 after we said it. So I don't want to say, well, I don't think this is going to end up 1-1 or 2-2, and I really don't. Maybe Ghana wins 1-0. Maybe it's 0-0 later. So I played both teams to score no. I'm a sucker for the ball possession props, and I've lost more than I've won, guys. I will fully admit it with this one, but we're stubborn. So we went under Colombia ball possession, under 64.5%, which is a lot, Tom. Like, even these dominant sides. It's hard to have the football for 65% of the game.
Yeah, it's just a bit too much, and especially if you're getting decent odds with it. You can show that graphic again for game stuff, so I can double check those odds. The 163 is a little bit heavy on the both teams to score, but I agree with it, right? And if you are taking a little bit of a shot on a Colombia to win 1-0, the exact score, that's a nice little double dip, obviously, and the under 2.5. So, this is a situation, Gabe, that we often talk about. It's like, if you're right, you're going to be really right. You could be knocking off 2, 3, 4 bets, whatever it might be, if one or two things happens for you. And that's what's fun, because you could win half of them. You could win 3 of them.
We could be really wrong, too, though, right? And we were.
Also,
classic.
Very true.
And a classic example was last night, Tom. Look at last night.
Yeah.
We were cruising along in that Portugal-Croatia game.
Mm.
We're like, yeah, there's no goals coming here. Like, where are the goals coming from? And then all hell breaks loose, bro. Right? Like, so and I told you that the other night, if you remember. I used the line. I said, yeah, we could be right for like 85 minutes, but it doesn't matter. And especially in this tournament. I mean, look today, guys, with Argentina and Cabo Verde. We had 2 goals in one extra time, period. Like in a 15-minute, it was like, oh, no, there's no way. Like, Argentina just won the game for sure. There's no way Cabo Verde are going to score. And then they score again, right? And Argentina are hard to score on, guys. So, you know, you can kind of throw logic out the window here, Tom, but all we can do is bet what we see. And like I said, we don't have to be right every time with this stuff. And I did play to hit the woodwork, guys. Sorry, I didn't put that in, but it was almost an assumption. So the hit the woodwork, guys, is if it hits the post or the crossbar. And it didn't earlier, but there was a game last night it didn't, in the Switzerland game. But it's been scorching hot. There's a reason why they've lowered the number as much as they have. But as I stated, Tom, this match really could go either way. I do believe that Colombia will find a way to advance, but it wouldn't shock me if we went to extra time here.
Right, and that's something that, you know, we've been saying a lot. Joe and I were live earlier for Australia and Egypt, and, you know, we said the same thing where, you know, Egypt looked really good to start, but then hang on, Australia's coming back with some punches of their own. They got some good chances. They also hit the woodwork in that game. I brought that up. I was, you know, thinking of you saying like, hey, right off the first, you know, 10, 15 minutes, we had Australia off the crossbar, maybe sooner than that. And, you know, we also, Joe and I talked about a live both teams to score because Australia didn't have time of possession, but they were getting the chances when they had the ball, which is important. And ultimately, I thought Egypt would advance. I didn't know if it was going to be super clean, but they are a better team compared to Australia, and they come through eventually, obviously, in penalties. You know, it took them a little while, but this is this kind of same situation. I think Colombia is a better team compared to Ghana, but I don't think they're miles and miles ahead. I think they're like a tier above. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, I think they're better, but they could lose to them. They're not that much better. You know what I mean? Like, and we're seeing anyone can lose to anyone. And I got to be honest with you guys, watching Cabo Verde and watching some of these teams, even Australia today, who really are not a talented team, Australia guys. Like most of their players play in their domestic league, and their domestic league sucks, right? But in the World Cup, man, you get this superpower and you play better. So it's like, you know what? Maybe Canada does have a chance against Morocco, right? It's like, okay, you know, we're saying that. Listen, they played in the last World Cup, Tom, and it was 2-1. So they didn't get blown out, but you know, Morocco are just so damn good, right? It's just one of those, oh boy, you got to play Morocco now. But so we're about 8 minutes into this game so far.
I think Colombia has to make a sub due to an injury.
I wanted to get to this. Well, no, they didn't make the sub. He came off. So basically they're playing with 10, they're playing a man down right now.
Okay, so I see, we got to double check what this is because Cordoba came off, at least
has anyone come in? But no one came in.
No, someone came in. It was just Suarez came in for him.
Okay, already. Right? Wow, Suarez in already. Because, I saw that, Tom. I saw him walking off the field. I was going to get to it, but they changed the rule, right, in the World Cup. They wanted to speed this thing up and not have people rolling around. So, like, if you're down and you're injured, you got to leave the pitch for a minute. So a lot of times you'll see guys, they'll just go on the sideline for a minute and whatever. They'll come back in. There's not really a sub. So I didn't see the sub though. All right. So we have our first sub of the game right now.
And
a little physical there
pace.
too.
Yeah. They got some pace. They got some, I don't know. We're coming up against a break, but you know, Colombia had to make a change due to an injury. We got some pace. We got some physicality going on, and it's going to be exciting first half, like at least.
Yeah, I just want to, I like to get the feel for the referee. Like, all right, you're letting tackling go. You're going to let this stuff go. And so far, we have.
He gives them a chance, but they've got to keep putting people around him. I think he's a very good quarterback. I don't know that he's the one that elevates you all by himself. I think he still needs the help. excellent player, perfect guy to lead your organization, perfect place for it. And by the way, I'd start him from day one. I wouldn't waste any time on it. But got to put pieces around him, and John Spytek has already started doing that.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
This is the third time he's been medically checked. Even the refs coming over. He's like, dude, like come on. Like after every sort of play in front of the net, the kind of goal he's done.
Yeah.
He's
stop jumping.
He's on the turf, like you said, like he's like driving off the top rope. Look at him here again. I give him credit. He's freaking fearless.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Are you ready for el verano más futbolero de tu vida? Latination Football Club turns into Copa Nation, our live stream experience every day de lunes a viernes, 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Pacific as well. Checking in after the games. In that slot between games, we got you, my friend. We're going to have celebrities, legends of the game, content creators, and a bunch of our friends that are going to keep you entertained and informed, letting you know what's happening all across the 3 countries that are going to be experiencing this crazy football tournament. Don't miss it. Copa Nation right here on Latin Nation every day. Check it out.
All right, so we're still scoreless right now in Kansas City where they're throwing it down, land of the barbecue. So we got Colombia and Ghana kicking it. I posted a story last night about, I love these World Cup human interest stories. That there was a dude in England. So there's a big guy, he's an English soccer fan, he's a big Leeds fan. And he got a ticket to the World Cup, and he was going to the United States. I think it was Boston he was going to. So he left England, except there was a stopover in Spain. So they went from England to Spain, Barcelona, and then it was going to go from Barcelona to the United States. During the stopover, he had a couple of drinks at the airport, lost his phone. We've all been there before, but his problem was he had his World Cup ticket and his plane tickets in his phone. And the plane left and stuff. So he kind of all right, he didn't know what to do. So the plane left. And this is the best, Tom. So he doesn't have his phone. He doesn't have his plane tickets, but he has his passport and he has cash. And it turns out he likes to use cash, this guy. So he's had a passport, he used cash. So he nonchalantly doesn't know what to do. He leaves the airport. Figures, well, I don't know, I'll figure it out. So I'm in Barcelona. He leaves the airport, and basically his family doesn't hear from him for 10 days. And they thought he was missing in the U.S. because he never checked in. He normally doesn't disappear and stuff. But he never checked in with anybody. And he was, and they actually filed FBI. Interpol started looking for the guy even. He's been missing for 10 days, essentially. It turned out that he's been getting drunk in Barcelona watching the World Cup for the last 10 days, Tom. We got a goal, Tom. We got a goal. Whoa, it didn't take long, huh?
That we do. Colombia on the board. And I was about to say is that Ghana also had to make a sub. It also looked like another injury for Ghana. So they all have one subs based on injuries this early in the game. They're obviously not making strategic substitutions 8, 10, 12 minutes into the game. But we got a Colombia goal on the board.
Wow.
They are off and running.
They really are. This is a dangerous team, man. This is a dangerous team. They're almost, Colombia is what people said Ecuador were going to be almost, Tom. You know what I mean? Ecuador came into this. They only gave up 4 goals in 18 games. They played against Argentina and Uruguay and all these big-time teams. So it's they're the real deal. And they really weren't, right? They don't have the offensive skill up front. And Ener Valencia's older. They don't have that flash. But, guys, you look at, like Diaz and Martinez and Rodriguez, like they've got guys on this team. Sanchez here, like this is a pretty deep team. And they got a nice mix, Tom, of like kind of younger guys. They got the veterans. Like I said, Rodriguez is an older dude who's been around a while. They haven't been this far since 2014. So like this is the best Colombian team in a while. And I'll tell you what, I'll ask you, Tom. You've seen Switzerland play a lot, obviously, at this point of the tournament. And Switzerland got it done last night against Algeria, but that's the next matchup. Switzerland plays the winner of this game in Vancouver. And as they say in the soccer world, I would fancy Colombia. Like Switzerland look good, but kind of against okay teams. Like, you know what I mean? Like if push comes to shove, you ask me who's going to advance between Colombia and Switzerland. I'll say Colombia, but I don't want to be a hypocrite because I told people, Tom, before the tournament started, I thought that Switzerland were going to make it to the quarterfinals. I did think Switzerland were an Elite Eight team, but they're one win away from that still, right? I mean, they still got to win the game, but we'll see what happens in this game still. But who would you take between Switzerland and Colombia? And last thing I'll say about that is I'll take a damn draw because Switzerland, Colombia has penalty kicks written all over it.
Okay. I would say, if I had to just, solely based on who I think, no odds implied, I would say Colombia. And, doing some of the Switzerland games, on IGL throughout the group stage, they look good. I don't think they look great. Maybe it's a team that just takes a little bit of time to get, in the motion of things. But when you are struggling in group stage and then, you beat Algeria last night, I thought Algeria was going to get at least one on the board. I thought it was going to be 2-1 Switzerland final. That's what I thought it was going to be. I was on both teams to score. That didn't come through. But I think Switzerland looked good. And the pace that Colombia plays at, it can be very frightening. They can get up and down, and they will pound shots as frequently as they can. And I think that presents a little bit of difficulty for a team like Switzerland that want to play a little bit more of a controlled style.
I agree. It would be fascinating because they are different. Like they're Switzerland like to have the ball. Switzerland are a big ball possession team. Switzerland are very elegant. They pass the ball nicely. They look like a football clinic type of team, right? An academy type of team. Everything's perfect, and and they're set piece. Everything's sort of lined up, but it's very deliberate, and it's hit or miss, but it's very deliberate. Meanwhile, like the coach said, I don't know if you saw the Paraguayan coach, basically, when he said after Germany, when he beat Germany, he said that. He goes, these guys are all superstars that play at football academies and have been stars since, like, they're kids. And he said, our players grew up playing with bare feet. And that's kind of it. Like, it's sort of the thing. And he goes, I'm not dissing them, but he said, they're rich. And it's the same thing. I say this too, like, a lot of these Euro teams we talk about when they go to penalty kicks, Tom, it's not who the skilled team is, right? It's the rich dude. The rich guy starts to think, man, my contract's coming up at Bayern. I miss this. I'm the laughing stock of the football world, right? Some dude from Paraguay doesn't give a crap. He goes up there and he rips it. He's not thinking about things. Whenever you have money at stake and you have a reputation and you're a bigger name, there's more pressure on you. So I just sort of think Colombia's sort of aggression and physicality could be a problem for Switzerland. But at the same point in time, Tom, Switzerland are more skilled than they are. Like, it'd be a great game. Like, it really, really. It's not one of those, like, flashy, sexy, like, oh, my God, Mexico, England. But from a football/soccer standpoint, it is a very intriguing matchup if it comes to be Switzerland and Colombia, Tom.
It will be. We had Devin on the other night talking about how all the underlying metrics Switzerland are great at, but sometimes you need those to show up in the actual game, and Colombia is a team that can jump on those inefficiencies.
It's a great point. They're a very analytic team. You're right. They're one of those.
He gives them a chance, but they've got to keep putting people around him. I think he's a very good quarterback. I don't know that he's the one that elevates you all by himself. I think he still needs the help. Excellent player, perfect guy to lead your organization, perfect place for it. And by the way, I'd start him from day one. I wouldn't waste any time on it. But got to put pieces around him, and John Spytek has already started doing that.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
This is the third time he's been medically checked. Even the refs coming over. He's like, dude, like come on. Like after every sort of play in front of the net, the Ghana goalie's done.
Yeah.
He's
stop jumping.
He's on the turf, like you said, like he's like driving off the top rope. Look at him here again. I give him credit. He's freaking fearless.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Are you ready for el verano más futbolero de tu vida? Latination Football Club turns into Copa Nation, our live stream experience every day de lunes a viernes, 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Pacific as well. Checking in after the games. In that slot between games, we got you, my friend. We're going to have celebrities, legends of the game, content creators, and a bunch of our friends that are going to keep you entertained and informed, letting you know what's happening all across the 3 countries that are going to be experiencing this crazy football tournament. Don't miss it. Copa Nation right here on Latin Nation every day. Check it out.
All right, we got another update as far as the Mexico-England game due to inclement weather on Sunday in Mexico City. But with that being stated, we'll get to that in a second because we got this game going on, Tom. We're going into the 22nd. We're into the 22nd minute right now. 1-0 Colombia. You talked about Colombia's high shot volume, and they have been. I mean, these guys have launched it throughout the tournament. We'll see now, though, it's the only thing, right, that changes scripts when teams score early. Does this change the script? Does Colombia shoot the ball less now? They've had, Ghana barely touched the ball, guys. So, like, Colombia is just sort of passing it around at will and doing what they want with the football right now. But are you concerned that Colombia's shots will be altered because they do have a 1-0 lead?
Absolutely. And I think the lack of shots will also play into the corners bet that I talked about. They have 3 shots and only 1 corner. We're approaching the hydration break, so we are, roughly a quarter through the game. I would like to see them, obviously, at 7 by halftime just to keep this live because I need them to have 16 plus. So I'd like to see them about 7. But, the fact that they scored so early does, I think, change that. The fact that Ghana can't get possession of the ball and maintain it, if Colombia ends the game with 10 shots or 12 shots and they're still controlling 60% of the ball, I think they'll be happy with that. Obviously, just winning is most important, but them scoring so early, I think, changes it. And I think it changes for everything. Let's just take a look at the shot market for Colombia right now for 16 plus shots. Okay, it's still minus 145. 17 would be plus 105. The corner market overall has changed. Let's see, 8.5 now. We're down to a 6.5 line?
What did you see? So what for team shots with Colombia now? Excuse me?
Yeah,
what was the number?
Yeah, I'm seeing for 15 shots, it's minus 200. For 16 shots, it's minus 140. Wow. So I have it at minus 120. For 16 shots, it's still minus 120, but it's roughly there. It's a little bit lower. So they are still expecting Colombia to shoot. The corners market, that's the one that's changed as we have hit the hydration break. The corners market is dramatically different. We're now looking at 6.5 corners, Gabe, minus 140 to the over, plus 106 to the under.
I was worried about the corner, and I me, Tom, I see you bet the corners a lot as well, but I'm usually a big corner guy, and I was a little turned off by this one. It was actually shaded to the under even at 8.5. I was concerned the ball would be in midfield a lot and sort of not in the corners and in dangerous spots. But, I mean, the corner market could pick up. But like you said, it's dipping right now. But almost out of principle, Tom, when we talk about this is the benefit of comparing numbers, tuning into shows like this, guys. Because I'm seeing team shots right now, 14.5 for Colombia at -120. So, and Tom's talking about and it just -110. It even went down right now. Bet365. 14.5 shots, -110 right now. Out of principle, because of the number you just told me, what a DraftKings, I'm like, I got to scalp this. I got to step in. I'm getting value with the number,
Right. And that's just, and part of that is, having the ability to bet multiple books, having whatever promos or anything you have, you should be using those to your advantage. Now, 15 plus shots for Colombia, it's -195 now. Like -195 or -190 compared to -110 is dramatically different. If you had that on a normal prop,
big time.
Gabe, if we were talking about a receiver for over 59.5 yards in the NFL, and you'd be like, that's a crazy line. I'm betting that based on principle. I don't care if he loses. Like, I'll be fine losing that bet, knowing more times than not, if you just bet the best line that you can, you'll come out. Like, I'll take that line every day.
And also, too, and I don't have access to DraftKings where I'm at, point blank. So, but the thing is, there are people out there that do it. I was actually with someone 2 nights ago that was talking about sort of, they're not really handicappers in a sense, guys, right? They are.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, like they don't bet. They sit in front of a computer, Tom, and they do exactly what we just talked about, right? 14.5, 15.5. So boom, they'll hit the middle right now, and they'll try to win it all everywhere. And the thing is, though, like they're good, but when you hear syndicates and partnerships and stuff, they share information, these guys, right? And they built their own AI models that are so fast that it's almost like competing. Like behind the scenes, guys, there's a big race, like who can do it faster. Like the books are ahead of us. So boom, bingo. But you have to be fast, right? And you have to do it for real money. I mean, you can do it for $10, but these guys are doing it for like $200K and stuff. So like, and different guys will put the bets in all over the place because they'll get, they can't do it all one guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. In-game live is rolling along. We're kicking it in Kelowna, British Columbia. Beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia. We're going to be at the CFL game tomorrow. I'll just throw it out there to you guys. Bet the over. All right, CFL game's been flying over. Total 57.5. Bet the over. I hope this game doesn't go over that we're watching right now, Colombia and Ghana, because I got under 2.5. I'm Morency. We're kicking it with Tom Vecchio. It's been too long, but our boy Dave Delano back in the rotation, and Dave's been killing the World Cup with his picks. Dave, Get Sports Strong. Good to see you, Dave. Thanks for joining us. This World Cup's been a lot of fun, hasn't it been?
It has, man. And even though I, didn't come into this World Cup a bigger fan of world football compared to American football, I'm loving this World Cup, man. I'm actually who cares about American football at this point, man? I'm been like over 73% in the World Cup. I don't want to see it. I don't
care. I always tell people, like, I used to bet on the CFL. Right? Yeah, I bet on the CFL, and I used to bet on the Arena Football League a lot. And somebody, I was in Vegas, and I was living in Vegas, Tom, and I had like 3 dimes on a Philadelphia Soul game, and I went up to the window and I cashed. And buddy's like gave me like $6,000 winning, and he goes, "Nice hit for an Arena Football League game, man." And I said, "Does it matter if it's the Philadelphia Soul or the Philadelphia Eagles?" I said, "It's the same money you're giving me." Right? And really, Tom, the money isn't like, yeah, but and a lot of the under the radar leagues. But there's so many options in soccer, Dave, to wager on, right? The props and in-game, you can adapt, right? Oh, it's tied. It goes to extra time. You can, all right, now it's a new 15-minute games and everything. But what did you do, or what were your thoughts on the this game tonight here with Colombia and Ghana?
So I hear you as far as liking the under. I didn't really want to get forced into a bad line with Colombia being such a big favorite, but I actually took Ghana at plus 1.5. It was about minus 150. And my reason for that is I did like the under, but I was thinking if Ghana could just get one goal, then then the under could not cash if you like that play. So I'm thinking Ghana could either get a goal or maybe keep this 1-0. So I actually took Ghana at plus 1.5 for this one. But yeah, this here, it was hard to see Colombia losing this matchup, but that price with Colombia was so big and expecting a lower scoring game. I didn't want to lay more than a goal on the favorite.
Now, as we turn to tomorrow and Sunday, we got a couple heavy favorites coming up, and really outside of the Mexico-England game, which is relatively a coin flip, all things considered, at least comparatively to the other games. What are you looking at for Canada and Morocco? Gabe obviously wants to see Canada come through. I have a Morocco ticket at 98-1 to win it all. So I'm kind of, I'm a little bit in the middle on this. What are you expecting from tomorrow's game? I think we all assume France is going to win the other one.
Yeah, so Gabe, actually, when I saw you on a flight, I see you're in British Columbia. At first, I thought maybe you were coming out to Houston for this Canada Morocco game.
I would like to. Yeah, you know what? I don't have Drake's budget. You know what I'm saying? Between like $1,500 for the ticket, the flight, the hotel in H-Town. I know maybe I could have stayed with you. And that's another thing. Kind of shorter notice too, right? A couple of days.
Yeah.
I did go to a World Cup game. I did. So I saw Canada beat Qatar, which was super sick. But yeah, I almost feel bad. Thanks for guilting me, Dave, that I'm not there. But I brought it up to Tom after watching Cabo Verde today against Argentina, after seeing all the close calls we've seen this week. Don't tell me Canada can't play with these guys. I believe that they can.
Yeah, we've seen stranger things happen. Canada can play with them, but one of the things here where I think is very interesting and trying to really find value in the spot, as you guys just pointed out there, Morocco's minus 260 to advance. But if you look at the money line really for the first 90 minutes, along with any stoppage time, you could get them at minus 115. So that's a little crazy that you'd have a team minus 260 to advance, but they're only in the minus 115 range to regulation because does the advantage in penalty kicks and overtime go up that much? So I think Canada's going to fight hard in this game, but I do think we're going to see definitely I think it's going to be a low scoring game. They're not going to want to make any mistakes. This might just be like a 1-0 type game, but I do think Morocco
it's interesting
comes
what
out
you
on
said.
top.
I noticed that too, like in which everyone thinks Morocco are going to win, but Tom, you and I talked about it. They're not massive favorites actually. And it's even coming down a little bit. And as you know, Dave stated, there's a discrepancy. Yeah, Morocco advances, but the book is almost telling us, Dave, Morocco advances, but we're not shocked if this is 1-1 after 90 minutes. Like, that's what, dude, they played in the last World Cup. It was 2-1 Morocco. There was two terrible goals, like an own goal. Canada much better. They got a better keeper now. I'm not saying, this and that, but they are a different team. What are you going to end up doing with the game, Tom? How are you approaching it?
Frankly, I'm looking at, I want to say under, because I think that does play to the advantage of Morocco, just because, I am holding a Morocco ticket, but I don't know if I'm going to hedge out and take, maybe Canada on a double chance or something along those lines. I haven't made a final decision. Obviously, I don't have to do tomorrow at 1, but, Dave, if you are coming into this objectively, just, obviously no bets prior in pocket, are you just going to say Morocco's the better team in 90 minutes? Give me that. And if it goes to penalties or extra, so be it.
Yeah, I am. That's the way I'm playing it, actually. I know that you guys may want Canada, and we'll see what happens, but I like Morocco minus 115 in 90 minutes. I feel like that's the way, if I'm going to take Morocco, I have to play it. I mean, not to that minus 260. I mean, it's still like 2 plays almost doubling up, but I think Morocco handles this. I don't think they embarrass Canada, but I think maybe like a 1-0 type matchup. So that minus 115, I think that's a great price for Morocco. I had Morocco against the Netherlands. I've been really high on Morocco this entire tournament. So Canada's been impressive, but I just think that this Morocco team is just a different animal, and I think the Canadians are going to have a hard time getting the offense to get this done.
What about the USA game on Monday? The biggest Monday Night Football game at Lumen Field ever, Delano. Forget about the Niners and Seahawks and any other teams that have played there before. Stakes couldn't be higher. And you know what, Tom? They got to get some of those freaky Seahawk fans behind the net like they do in the end zone. There's a few crazy girls at every game. But the Seattle fans will definitely bring it on Monday. But no Balogun. What do you think? What are you going to do with that one, Dave? Your gut? Belgium or the U.S. for you?
Yeah, not being a homer, I'm taking the U.S. to advance. Before this knockout stage started, when I filled out my bracket, I have the U.S. getting to the round of 8 and eventually falling to Spain. But I do think that obviously that was before the the red card and the suspension. But I still think that the United States is going to find a way to get it done. Been very, very impressed. That's home field. Think they're going to ride them. And Belgium, man, they really got by against Senegal late in that game. Not overly impressed, but the United States, even from what we have to look at, I mean, the United States, I think that the wins that the United States has had, even like the Australia win, the Paraguay win, some of those games that at the time you didn't think that they were over impressive, as this tournament's gone on, the United States wins have been have only gotten more impressive. So I'm going to back U.S. to advance in this one. Now, this is one, though, where I want to play to advance because I really could see this being a draw after those 90 minutes, but I don't really want to pick it as a draw. So I'm going to go ahead and just take the United States to advance. I think that they go ahead and eventually play Spain. And I think that that's going to be where the United States ends up eventually getting knocked out.
All right, and then on Sunday night, huge matchup, England, Mexico, in Mexico City at Azteca. What are you looking at that?
Back on at its regular time, Tom. Sorry, I want to throw that in there. We didn't get to that. Back on. It's back at its regular time now. It's 8 o'clock Eastern Sunday night.
Yeah, no weather issues there. Going to be a crazy environment for Mexico. Frankly, you give me plus money with a home team. I kind of like that.
Yeah, Tom, I agree with you on this. I haven't officially placed a wager on this, but I think I will. And I think it's going to be Mexico. Man, like the home team. And England is just on paper. I mean, they've been one of the best teams coming in. But from what we've seen so far,
they don't lose out at Azteca, Dave. Well, it was good catching up with our boy Delano. I swear to God, I almost just had like flashbacks of like talking Toledo football with Dave. Dave's a big college football guy, Tom. So like, we get into college football with him. And speaking of which, that's going to be around the corner. That's creeping up on us. But creeping up on us is halftime right now. We're going, we're into the 42nd minute right now, Tom. And Columbia get that early goal in this game. Pace sort of slows down a little bit, but Columbia press. Ghana did have the Ghana was buzzing around the box a little bit, but they put the ball over the net. I'll put it this way. You can sort of judge not the excitement, but the stress level of these games by how many times did your sportsbook freeze? Right? Almost like, and it's frozen like 3-4 times, or even the sportsbook's like, oh boy, something's about to happen. And then they lock it. We're talking about, that's like another story, talking about the battle with sportsbooks and bettors and speed and 5G and all this type of stuff. But interesting game, Tom. I mean, if you ask me right now, listen, I bet it. I got it at a plus 500, the Columbia 1-0. Feeling like a 2-0, or is it a 1-1 game? I mean, we've been wrong with our in-game sort of score predictions here, but I don't know. I mean, Ghana isn't really presenting too much of an offensive threat right now. They're going to have to raise it up in the second.
Yeah, I would say 1-0 or 2-0 Columbia. I mean, everything that you're looking at is essentially tilted in Columbia's favor. It's 70-30 in terms of possession, which is, pretty sizable gap. It is 4-4 when it comes to shots. Ghana doesn't have any shots on goal. Columbia has 2. The corners are in favor of Ghana 2-1. So I'm looking for over 8.5 corners. We have 3 total. We're approaching halftime. I'd like to get one more here to at least be at 4. I think that would be good. The shots for Columbia, certainly a little bit lower than I anticipated. But again, there's only been 1 or 2 actual shots from Ghana that I would say are truly threatening. At least Columbia are taking their chances.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
Because, guys, if Columbia hasn't scored right now, they're getting frustrated and they're bombing away and let's get a goal before the end of the half. They got a goal, and let's be real, Tom. And no one's going to ever admit this publicly, coaches and stuff, but they know Ghana is offensively challenged, right? So it's like, guys, we have a 1-0 lead. Do not get caught on some long pass fast break, because Ghana are fast. So don't get caught on a fast break. Don't do anything reckless. Let's keep the ball. If you're Columbia, you're in a decent spot. But once again, we've seen a lot of teams in good spots. You're in a good spot until you're not right with this. But it is what it is. I mean, even my under 2.5, Tom, I didn't panic when they scored. It went to plus 137 to the under 2.5. But, okay, it is what it is. I still feel good about where we're at here right now.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I will say the both teams to score market, that has changed, a good amount. It's down to minus 200 for the no, for both teams to score. And the under 2.5.
I'm surprised it didn't move more.
I know.
Because it closed at minus 175. It closed at minus 175.
So minus 200. As we are approaching halftime, we just hit 45 minutes, a few seconds ago, we're going to get 6 minutes of stoppage time. It is not looking like Ghana is having too many significant chances towards the net. And frankly, as it goes on, they're going to have to take more and more chances to get closer to that. And I think that's where they'll be a little bit more susceptible.
Ghana's keeper just kept it from being 2-0 right now. Whoa, big. Man, these African goalies are good. They're just getting peppered and they're all over the place. Today, the dude from Cabo Verde really pulled it off again, but whoa, big time threat. That's what I said. Columbia are dangerous, guys. They don't just sit on their lead. They're aggressive. Tom, too, and, one thing with Columbia is they're pretty versatile, aren't they? In the sense that they'll deliver a 30-yard drill. They're not shy to try to boom one. They also set pieces, you know what I mean? That volley was very, very nice. You know what I mean? They'll use the headers. They'll use the, from outside the box. They'll score on a rebound. I like their offensive portfolio, Tom, that they don't rely on one. We talk about, the Belgians and the Switzerlands, Belgium. They're always, it's like a hockey team, Tom, Belgium. On the power play. They're looking for that highlight reel all the time. Boom, 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 cut. Oh, yeah, what a goal. I like Columbia style. We don't care how it looks. They just sort of will the ball into the net. Push the ball in the net. You know what I mean?
And I don't know if a lot of people are, looking at Columbia as, they think of South American teams. They think of, Argentina and Brazil. et cetera, et cetera. But, Colombia have a lot of players that play in high-tier leagues. They have players that play for Bayern
Luis
and
Diaz on
MCPR.
Bayern. James Rodriguez is a legend, bro. Yeah.
Right. So they have like high-tier experience, which I think is really important. So does Ghana. Ghana has a lot of players in Spain or also in Germany, and you need high-tier experience. But the fact that Colombia isn't willing or isn't it's not like they're not willing, but they aren't happy with sitting back even when they have a lead. Like, they're willing to press, and they know that players at this high of a level are going to do the same against them. I kind of like that high-level experience from a lot of their players willing to step on the gas even when you have a lead.
We have to wonder, I don't know, is Argentina, because, Tom, everybody sort of says the same thing all the time. Oh, Argentina's side of the bracket. Well, Argentina are lucky to survive today. And I'm not going to dismiss Egypt. Yeah, I'm not going to dismiss Egypt, but all right, Argentina, Egypt. Yet, Argentina aren't invincible as we saw today, Tom. Just the fact of the matter is, and just for the record, guys, the winner of Argentina, Egypt will face the winner of the Switzerland, Colombia / Ghana winner here.
Right.
So let's say hypothetically,
Argentina, Colombia would be awesome.
Oh man, that'd be a war.
That would be an amazing matchup. It would be an amazing matchup.
Give me the
winner of that. Oh yeah.
Give me the
winner of that would play. I think. We haven't really talked about Brazil-Norway. We talked about a lot of these other games, and we are still in this, and we're coming up to halftime, and we'll have one more segment to close things out. But we could talk about Brazil-Norway. I think most people would expect Brazil to win that, at least based on the odds. But, Mexico-Brazil in the next round would be crazy. The winner of that taking on Argentina, presumably Colombia. We are set up for some unbelievable games.
Oh, if you had a little trifecta window there of Argentina, Brazil, and Colombia in the same little world, that would just be like, I'm looking, guys, I got chilled now. I'm thinking, what a day. We have Sunday coming up, too, with Brazil, Norway, Mexico, England. But Brazil, Norway, I'm thinking draw, guys. I think it's going to be tied after 90 minutes. I don't know if I've ever seen someone sweating as much as the dude on Ghana I just saw sweating right now. He's from Ghana. And if you're from Ghana, like KC's hot. like hot. Like, look at these dudes. Look how hot. Like, look at the sweat, like, on these dudes. Like, just over the top. Like, you could, like, their arms. You can just sort of see it. Like, you know what, though, Tom? I just be real what they did here. They knew what they were doing. Like, there are a lot of teams, like I said, that, you're going to play in the air condition. Well, these other teams are, like, playing in, like, 120 degrees. And, like, I wish I had the number, Tom, and you're a numbers guy. You're more, fat guy type thing. But, like, the games in the domes, bro, it was 10-4 to the over the other day. Now, I don't have the adjusted number. But, like, the dome air-conditioned games compared to, like, some of these, these Euro teams, Tom, but a lot of the Euros are biting the dust, like, one by one. But it is affecting them. And it's not an excuse, though. They're professional athletes. It is what it is. You got to deal with the conditions, right? But my whole deal is not everybody's dealt with the same conditions in this tournament. I mean, like how the hell do you have England playing in Atlanta, going to Mexico? Like, what are we doing? Like, if you're going to have England and USA, keep them in USA, right? Don't have them going back and forth. And, like, it's just, you got Canada, they're in Houston. It's a very unbalanced and, quite frankly, unfair, because you can't say at the end, well, everybody had the same conditions. No, they don't, right? I mean, England have to go and play in the altitude. And just for the record, we briefly brought it up, Tom, all kinds of controversy about that, right? About, they're going to move the game up because of weather. And now there's been there's an announcement that no, they're not. FIFA is playing it cool, saying that was the media that said that. We never said we were moving the game. And they said they're not moving the game right now. So, dude, like you said earlier, Mexico don't lose at Azteca. So if they don't advance, fine. But that at least it's going to go to a draw, plus 220. And then we didn't even bring up the Paraguay-France, which we kind of glossed over. But they're just so good, France. Like, any chance for an upset here? Like, what are you doing with that?
It's France seemingly scores 3 goals a game every game, and there's nothing you can do. And Mbappe is going to score.
You're right.
First.
3.33. That's their thing. 3.3333. You're right.
Mbappe will probably score first, as he always does. It's a tough game to bet just because the odds are so heavily skewed. You can't even take some players straight for whatever it might be. But Mexico certainly looking to back in some capacity there. When it comes to the other games, looking to, I want to say a draw between Brazil and Norway, just because I think that's like a really, really fun outcome. But when it comes to Canada and Morocco, I think that's a tough game to kind of wrap my head around for right now. I like Brahim Diaz. I like him to score or assist at plus 140. This is a player who, during AFCON for Morocco, he scored in, 5 straight games, 4 straight games for them, leading up to the final versus Senegal. So he's a big-time player in big-time moments. I like that from Morocco, playing up at the top. You always look to Hakimi for a goal or assist as well. And then Mexico-England, I think that's an under. And I think it's a draw, 0-0. At best, I think it's a 1-0 England win. But you give me a chance to back Mexico at home, and I'll take that time and time again.
I'm seeing Mexico to advance plus 110, so they're kind of aware of it. They're kind of trying to rope you in here to the 90-minute. I think that draw at plus 220 range is very, very appealing, and I agree with Tom. We were talking about it. And I'm actually surprised, Tom, it's not like even like minus 225 or something. I'm seeing 2.5 minus 175 right now to the under for Mexico and England. But that game is Sunday night, so action's going to come in before then, obviously. And, Tom, you and I won't speak, and I don't know, maybe you're going to be on for the game Monday afternoon, actually. You want to talk about it? Funny, remember last night I brought it up. I said, Portugal kind of have a thing with Spain, like an inferiority complex. Well, here they go. And it's kind of like amazing, isn't it? The legend Ronaldo, whose legend grew last night in star, but we can get into the offside, blah blah, whether it should have been a goal for Croatia against Yamal. You basically have the 41-year-old against an 18-year-old. Fascinating matchup. Yeah. Spain is the number 2 big in your opinion. Portugal are plus 300 in regulation. What do you think about that one?
I think everyone agrees that Spain's the better team. And it's definitely like a little brother syndrome for Portugal. Like, they've never been as good as Spain. They've never been as good as Brazil, as we talked about yesterday. I think Portugal didn't look great yesterday. And I think it's just putting it lightly. Like they could have lost that game 3-1.
And the tournament, Tom, they haven't looked great. And a lot of the games that I talked about,
I think Spain's significantly better. I think Spain is significantly better compared to Portugal.
And my deal, I think Portugal kind of spent after last night. It was hot as hell. They're older. It was an emotional win. They got to turn around and play on Monday against Spain. Good luck with that.